And I loved working with half of them more probably were Italians or Poles or Greeks or all sorts of people. And I would always learn a bit of their language. I could actually remember what they taught me. But I loved meeting them and hearing. They had great senses of humour. There is a camaraderie amongst labourers is really great. And sometimes if I walk into a factory for some reason, it gives me great nostalgia. I also worked in a brick factory on the roof. It was a pretty dangerous job. Had to carry sheets of asbestos across this plank between a hill and the roof of the factory, Midland Brick. A very long drop, but I sort of edged over it the first time I did it, but after a while, even if there's a sea breeze, you just walk over it. And you had to be careful walking on the roof, because if you stepped off the planks, you'd fall through the roof and crash all the way down to the floor. But I did it because I could earn enough money to buy some contact lenses to help me with football. I think that's what changed my life, playing football. I finally had enough money to buy some contact lenses, which means I could see the ball. Previously I couldn't actually see it all that well. And then I got a job as a hospital orderly, which was terrific. I was just a cleaning job. I was cleaning toilets and mopping floors and that sort of stuff. But the local hospital surgeon took me in, and he actually let me watch operations initially, and then he let me help. Then my last year as an orderly, I was sewing up. He would do varicose veins. He would do the veins, strip the veins, and then I would come behind him. He taught me how to sew and tie one-handed surgical knots, and it was just terrific. I loved it. My friends couldn't believe it. We hadn't even started our clinical medicine term, and I'd already been operating, if you like. My dad taught me a good work ethic. You know that phrase, if you're not there 5 minutes early, then you're late. He once pulled a trick on me. The head of the hospital met him at some function, and he said, my dad said, my son's working there. He said, I know your son. He's a lazy bugger. And Dad came and told me this. I said, that's not true. I've got a great work ethic. I take work when other people need help. And that's not true, Dad. I don't think I've done anything that would deserve that. I don't know what and I really got it. And my dad started to laugh. He said, no, he said, you're a fantastic worker and I'm proud of you. I loved working when I was a student. I needed to work to get some money, of course, because my parents didn't have much. So if I wanted to get petrol in my car or anything, I had to work in the summer holidays. But I loved it, and it taught me a lot. And I'm very comfortable talking to working class people, partly because I grew up in that sort of area, but also because of my experience in these factories.